Hi, I'm Lauren Smith, and you are tuned in to Weird Realities, my go to place for all the news of the strange and unusual. So grab your tinfoil hat because it's about to get weird.
Weird Realities explores the paranormal, preternatural, and supernatural worlds that surround us. Here we delve into those topics that challenge us to think outside the limitations of realism, where we test the boundaries of imagination and are forced to think outside the confines and restrictions of what is normal. We are the creators, the writers, the artists, and the insane. Welcome to our Weird Realities.
Hello and welcome. This is Allen Gamboa from Watching Weird. Here tonight is my partner in crime, Jeff Thomson, and Weird Realities regulars, Hadley, Thorne, Scott Baker, and Shay Tully. Now, before we get started, let me remind you to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to get alerts each time new uploads are added to our channel.
Today we're meeting with producer and director and writer Hilton Ariel Ruiz. Hilton is best known as a producer and director for Zombie with a Shotgun in 2019, Moose, and 6.666 Beyond the Halls of Paradise. Hilton, thank you for being with us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, guys. It's definitely it's going to be fun today, chatting with you guys.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Yeah, so usually we have everybody talking over everybody, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Hilton, real quick, and then we'll start with the questions and the talk.
Yes, absolutely. Again, thank you for having me. Yes, I would say that now, wow, it's been a while since Zombie with a Shotgun, and I've done a lot of films, from documentaries, narrative fiction films, and I've done I don't know how many projects I have done, but it always comes down to that one project that everybody likes and loves and talks about, which is the Zombie with a Shotgun. That is something that started, believe it or not, how time flies. Zombie with a Shotgun was done in 2012. It was done with a web series, and the very first episode of that web series actually went viral. And that was the very first time that I had witnessed, something that went viral of my own. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that, what do I do? I guess everybody, tries to get out there and tries to, get viral, get that wave. And when you get that wave, you try to see how can you ride it, So I did write it. Obviously, we're in 2021 where, we did the episodes, and then, we didn't think it would keep on growing, and it still is. And we started saying, hey, maybe we should do comic books and see what happens with the comic books. And then we went to the feature film, and then we went into video design. And then now we are, just of last month, I've pulled the trigger. I felt that it was the time for the next installment and the sequel of Zombie with Shotgun to go forward. So that's where I am right now.
So you built a franchise, a pretty good franchise.
Yeah,
Zombie with a Shotgun.
Yeah, I would say, and it's funny because building the franchise was, yes, you could call it a franchise, but building this whole thing that I have now was just trying to get the attention from like the big dogs to come and say, oh shit, this is really good. Let's come and let's give him a lift. And it just seems like, I did meet a lot of the big dogs and I met a lot of people, but it just did not make sense to, give them that, that sort of, what's the word? Give them the keys to Zombie with a Shotgun and basically say, okay, I think you guys can take this over. And obviously, look, we're all artists, and there's a point that we are, we're indie artists, and there's a point that we say, hey, look, we need to make this, a career living where, you could, it's that dream that we think about. But sometimes, it's not necessarily, because the love of it sometimes does power, the money aspect about it. And I just felt that I was waiting for that. And it just, every opportunity that I came by, it just felt like it wasn't right. And that's why I just kept on going and going. And I could have given the keys to Zombie with Shotgun a long time ago to many of these producers that I met, whatever you want to call them, in Hollywood or independent world and everything. I could have gave it to them a long time ago. It's just, I felt that it was just, it wasn't right. And I built this huge fan base, and I felt that I had a responsibility to build it for them. And there was a reason why there was a fan base, and it was because what we did with with the actors and the crew and cast and everybody that came, and the artists, the illustrations, there was something about it that everybody put their sweat and tears into these projects. Everybody would give 110%, and I just felt like I needed to continue it to just to have that independent horror essence of what independent horror filmmaking is to me, like the true indie filmmaking. That's where it all started. Now it's commercialized and everything. And just to say, I don't have nothing against taking Zombie Shotgun 2 to the next level. And when I say next level, yes, to the big dogs. I don't mind it, but it has to make sense. You just can't say, hey, you know what? We're gonna come in your farm and we're just gonna give you a pig or a cow, and you could just walk it down, and we'll just take your farm. I want to work in the farm with them too, and I want that. I want that opportunity to also, and it's all indie artists that we are. There's some time that we get jerked, book writing or anything. There's that one time that somebody wants to jerk us and say, hey, you know what? I want to take this and take that, and then you're like, wait, dude, I worked so much for that, and then you're just gonna come and take everything. But again, I'm excited. I went on a little rant there, I think.
That's all right. We do that with our babies.
Yes,
but just the name alone, Hilton, Zombie with a Shotgun, that right there, that's just gold.
Yeah, and I think that's what made, there's a lot of things that made Zombie Shotgun, but the title, yes. I mean, there are so many zombie films that come out every year, but the title just doesn't catch. And Zombie Shotgun, when you listen to it, when anybody listens to it, it's quirky, it's funny, it's awesome, it's dope, and it has all these things to everybody that they feel about it when they have that intrigue. It's like, I gotta see what that's about. Is that something serious? Is that a comedy? Is that? And I think the title, yes, absolutely, is an eye catcher, definitely.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. That's exactly the same way that Sean Cunningham got the original money for Friday the 13th. He sold the poster. He had no idea what it was going to be about. He just said, okay, Friday the 13th, the scariest movie ever. And he got his original money to make that first movie based on that, just because it was the concept.
You gotta love that. That's awesome.
Well, look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was like one of the original indie horror movies. That thing became a monster later on.
Yeah.
But it was as indie as you can get,
Absolutely.
Hilton, where did you come up with the idea for Zombie with a Shotgun?
Okay, so the idea came with, and I'll be honestly to tell you guys the truth, and everybody who's listening, I've never imagined that I'll be doing zombie films and talking about Zombie Shotgun would ever take off. So when going back to 2012, web series started getting popular, and here I am. I've done projects here and there, but I never really did a horror or whatever subgenre zombie kind of thing. I never did anything like that, and I loved horror, but I just never really tapped into it. So when the whole web series thing started getting popular around those time, like 2012, I always said to myself, hey, it'd be so cool if we did a zombie point of view story / love story, and something where it was sort of, it started getting a little bit sort of like, all right, why is everybody scared of the zombie? I mean, and then, I'm starting to think about, growing up in the 80s in New York where, the AIDS epidemic was here and everything. Like, it kind of reminded me, everybody was sort of scared of those people that had HIV and AIDS. I get it. It was all new and everything. And it's funny how the pandemic now is so new and everything, but no one's ever told a story about the sick guy, the guy that is sick, the guy about his family that's suffering because their loved one is sick. Why? Why was there like, yes, we do have some films that was point of view, but it's not really that taken where we want to know more about the character and everything. And I just felt like it was just kick ass to do something like that. And again, I didn't think it was going to go off, it was going to blow up like that. So when I got the actors and Braden, who played Aaron in Zombie with a Shotgun, I told him about it. I said, oh, let's do a zombie. We did actually, it's funny because 666 also was done in that year. We did 2 horror web series, and that was the one that went viral. And that was more of the story of the inspiration of Zombie with a Shotgun. Just try to get this guy's point of view that's a zombie and become sort of like a kick-ass. Eventually, we couldn't do, we started with the idea, and we started with the first episode, and, we try to elaborate more, but after a while, the popularity was like, okay, now we got to switch it up to the feature and like start like kind of like fresh and telling the story, because we didn't continue. Obviously, after 5 episodes, it's like, look, we're not going to continue this because it's so popular. Let's see what we can do next. But that's more of the inspiration of Zombie with a Shotgun.
How many of the actors from the web series went over to the feature film?
There was not a lot of actors in the feature in the web series. I would 2 people only. Obviously the main zombie, the actress. I did want to get the actress back in it. At that time, she was in midst of a career changing, so you have to respect that. And then we had to cast somebody else as Rachel. And then we brought somebody. I'm thinking right now, yes, only 2 people came from the original, from the web series over to the film.
How much did you have to expand the screenplay?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
How much did you have to expand the screenplay from what you started with?
Oh man, it was so many. We had so many, because at first, zombies. Obviously, we know to do a really kick-ass zombies. You need a lot of zombies. You need a lot of money, a lot of makeup and art. Makeup artists here and there. I would even say, and this goes for any project, any indie project. Even when we was in production, we changed the story 5 times because of location problems. Actors got sick. Actors couldn't come in. So, I mean, it was definitely like a dozen times that we had to change and expand here and there from the original script. I mean, it sometimes I even say to myself, from the original first time we went into production, that script is nothing like when we ended it. And it just happens to be because we was so, we did have a schedule, but you know how it is with indie filmmaking. It's just so many, things happen. You got to prepare, it's like, one of my sayings I always say is, nothing is 100%, nothing's ever going to be accurate, So that's yeah.
Did you do a lot of guerrilla filmmaking with that one? Like no permits and running around and shoot and then leave?
Yeah.
Shoot and scoot, I guess.
Yes. Nothing goes accordingly to plan. That's what I want to say. Yes. So what happened, we got very lucky because I'm located in Lower East Side, Manhattan, New York City. And my apartment / office was shared with another building. And of course, me living there, knowing people, they allowed me to use the locations around that area, around the block, around next door and everything. So for me to get locations, I got really lucky because I was like, hey, can I use this location? And, they were fine. They're like, yes. So, the abandoned location was right next door for me. And I used the basement and everything. So we didn't really use permits because we already had, those locations and everything. And then my friend owned a building, an apartment building in Alphabet City. So I didn't need a permit for that. We did the rooftop shoot. We did the street running and everything. So we got lucky with that. And the drone shots, we just did guerrilla style. We would go 5:00 in the morning. We went up to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. And we shot there. We shot in Chinatown, West Side. So yeah, everything was guerrilla. And I would just say because a lot of it was because we already had a lot of the locations, me being a local New Yorker and knowing so many people, just knowing, friends and family that was able to. But that was the key. That definitely was the key. And the other stuff, yeah, we did guerrilla style.
Now, what are you hoping on the second movie? Are you gonna? Is it still in New York, or are you gonna expand out? Or
yes, New York. My whole thing was that the zombie film. There's not a lot of zombie films in New York City. Of course, the famous zombie. We see the Twin Towers and all that stuff is beautiful and everything. But since then, there's not really been a zombie film or slash horror film that's really shot in in New York City. 95% of the film was shot in New York City, and I really wanted that. And even for the second one, I really would like to have, I really would love to still continue that. My whole thing, I'm not giving up the story or anything like that. I've always told the fans that if there was a sequel, we were going to start off how the film ended, where the police was coming to him and there was a chase in New York City with him zombified, and they're going to go at it. That was something that I really, really wanted to do. Even when we did the first one, and we ran out of money, so we ended it the way we did. Obviously, we had more money. We would have definitely had a little bit more of the shootout scene at the end with police officers and everything. But we're starting that up. That's how we're gonna begin the sequel.
Were the animated scenes? Were they something you'd already planned, or were they like budgetary, reasons, or was that something you just had in your mind and like, hey, I'm going to throw this in here?
Yeah, it's good question. Good question. So yes to all those things you just said. So what happened is I was a big fan of stick figure theater. If you guys recall MTV, Liquid TV, back with, when they had Iron Flux, Max, and they had a segment called stick figure theater. And one of my favorite ones was when he did a clip from Night of the Living Dead, and he would, what Robin would do was he would take these film scenes and use the same sound and the same actors' background and reenact them with his stick figures drawings. So if you ever Google or YouTube stick figure theater, Night of the Living Dead, Robin, oh my God, I forget his name. I'm sorry, I blanked out on his last name. You even put stick figure theater, MTV, Liquid TV, Night of the Living Dead. You'll see that whole clip.
Okay.
And I loved it. I was a huge fan of that. So going into the film, we shot that scene, but there was a problem with the scene where, again, one of the actors had to leave the scene, and that, it kind of messed up the whole day, because he leaving midday, we were like, okay, we need 3 of these guys. What we had no choice. He had to go. He left. We shot it. We looked at it, and we're like, oh my God, for him leaving, it looks odd. Now, where's the 3rd guy? You know what I mean? So it's like there's 3 guys, and then all of a sudden there's 2 guys. So that's when I came with the idea. I said, you know what? Let me give it a shot. Let me see if I can contact this guy. And I always had in my mind, that would be so cool if I could work with this guy to do, So I reached out to him. I found his information, and we got on the phone right away. And I told him about the idea. And let me tell you, he loved the idea so much. He thought it was so out of, like, it was so with the bunny rabbits and the shootout scenes. He says he's never heard anything like that. And he said that was the reason why he had to do it. And
it works.
Loved it. Yep, he loved it, and we set an agreement, and it was amazing that he was able to agree and do the clips for the film.
Now, for aspiring filmmakers out there, what would you think, or is there a bare minimum budget for making a low budget movie?
Oh, that's a really good answer. I mean, really good question. I don't know if I have a good answer for it. I would say, okay, it all depends. Like if somebody in the crew is already an editor and knows what he's doing editing. And when I mean know what you're doing editing, not like playing around, like know what you're really doing when you're editing. And if you have if you're a core group or whatever you have as a camera guy and you have, whatever /DP and you have the editor, you're going to save a lot of money. But you'll save a lot of money. And I think something around $5,000 to $7,500 would give a good, decent short project. And it all depends on the story. How many locations. How I think like a lot of people will say, hey, let's do a feature film. To answer the question, there's a lot of people say, hey, how much money can we make a feature film for? I mean, you can. I mean, you could. It all depends on the equipment you have, who has equipment, and you could do something for $10,000 if you really, know what you're doing. As in, like, if you're gonna go there fresh, I would tell Inspire. This is what I'm gonna answer. If you're going out there to do filmmaking, I think you should go out there and do 2 short films and do a documentary. And with that sort of experience you have, then you can say to yourself, okay, I'm going to try to do a bigger film, a bigger feature film. And I think you can do one with a 3-man crew, a 4-man crew for $7,500 to $10,000. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen films out there that is like, it's hard. It's definitely hard, but it's a hard question to answer, and the thing is talent also. You gotta have a kick-ass script, and the fact that you don't have money, you bring an actor and just destroyed your whole film.
Even if you do have money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have an actor destroy your entire film.
So Hilton, I've got a few questions from the chat. Are you ready for them?
Put me in the hot seat. Let's go for it.
Okay. All right. Well, first off, Bethany Stutzman has asked where she can watch Zombie with a Shotgun. Where can she find that?
Yes. So if she has I usually tell people now, before I used to say Amazon, they have an Amazon subscription, but it's so easy because I'm starting to realize not a lot of people have the Amazon Prime. So Tubi is a free, streaming service. She can watch it in Tubi. There's no signing. There's no login. Nothing at all. She just could go on Tubi. The link. She could go on Tubi, search Zombie with a Shotgun, and she could just watch the film right there for free. And if she's an Amazon Prime subscriber, she could watch it on Amazon as well for free.
Okay. And she followed that up with, did you ever have a moment on set where it hit you like, wow, I'm really doing this?
Yes. I would say the very second day when the temperatures were like 102 degrees and then I said, oh my God, I'm really doing this, and why am I doing this? And then you start to realize, because I love this. and yeah, that was the point when the temperature that week we shot on August was one of the hottest weeks of New York City that year. And just bad timing, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, the moment that I started to realize it was so damn hot, and I was like, I'm really doing this. And you know what? Just to answer that, I'm going to make a better answer for her. I have a better answer for her. One of the producers, Kyle Hester, he flew to California. He came to New York, and in New York City, believe it or not, we have like one. There's no Kmart's here in New York, but for some reason there's one in New York City, but all New York is like no more where I'm at here. So we went to Kmart and everything like that, and then he picks up this coffee maker, and he goes, "Hey, let's buy this. We need to buy this." And I don't drink coffee. All right, don't kill me. I don't.
Blasphemy! You're a blasphemer.
And then he's like, "Hey, we need to buy this for the crew and cast." And he's getting all these coffee, whatever, K-cups and all that stuff. And I'm starting to look, I'm like, holy shit, we're making a movie. All the coffee he was buying. And it was like the very first damn day, we haven't even shot. And here's the producer, bought all this coffee equipment on our, of course, on the budget, which we had. And I'm like, yep, that's when I said, we're making a movie. Yeah.
You got to lube your crew, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to follow that up with Jamie Hernandez has asked, how long did it take you to film Zombie with a Shotgun?
Good question. 3 years. We started, 2016 of August. Now, when we shot, I think we shot 12 days straight in New York City. There were, of course, scenes that we lost. We lost a lot of days. And again, a lot of it was the temperatures was too high. A lot of people got sick for being too, the heat. And also the actors had to go back home. So what happened is I told the actors to keep 2 days just in case. So we used those 2 days. So to the actors, the main actor, Braden, we shot that last day. We're 2 hours away. He had to go. We were still shooting. And he was like, I'm going to miss my flight. And we was like, no, we got one more shot. And then we're going to call the cab. So he was going crazy. Like, no, I'm going to miss it. So eventually we shot it. But then we had to go on a couple more campaigns. And so the following year, 2017, we did another campaign. Then we shot a couple more scenes. And I advise nobody to do it, do this and this sort of, I advise people to raise the monies and shoot it. But it's just, that's how indie filmmaking goes. And this is how this went. And unfortunately, that's the only way we did it. Sometimes I figured, damn, I can't even believe we finished. And the same thing happened in 2018. We raised monies for it. And then the finale, we waited for the finale to be right, to make sure that we had all the pieces. And then 2019, we still didn't have all the pieces. We just said, I can't really say until we had all the pieces. We still don't even have no pieces, even now. We just figured, you know what? Let's do the finale. We can't do any more. And so 2019 March, we shot the last scene, which is the finale of the film. And we shot that in 2019, and we cut the whole thing. We finished cutting in August of 2019 and released it on streaming November 28th, 2019. It goes by quick, the 3 years. It's unbelievable, but it took 3 years. 3 years.
Well, that's the same way Sam Raimi and Bruce Campbell did the first Evil Dead.
Yes.
It took them 2 years to shoot the thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. We, it's just,
yep.
That's, like I said, that's, indie filmmaking, and, and that is the thing that that's the thing that makes a lot of projects fall apart. And that's what that first thing that I was saying before, that I felt like there was a responsibility for me to keep on doing this, because how hard is it to do a film and then a year later ask the actors to come on board again? That's not a lot of projects. Many times they're like, I don't want to do it no more. And the projects fall completely apart. And here with Zombie with a Shotgun, I was blessed, and I was fortunate that a lot of these actors, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I would call them up and say, hey, look, man, can you fly here? And they were like, yeah, let's do it. And that was key. It could have just been one person that said, I don't want to do it no more. I got no interest. We would have been like, oh man, what do we do now? I mean, we eventually would have figured something out, but that was the good thing about Zombie with a Shotgun. Everybody believed in it. Everybody, committed to it 110%.
Okay, so moving on to the next movie you're going to do, the continuation of the story. Having been through this experience, are you going to do it the same way, or are you going to get all your ducks in a row first?
So, when the film was released on November 28th, right, 2019, I had many people come on board to let's do a sequel. We had investors and everything. Pandemic destroyed everything. Obviously, we all know. Many people left. People changed their careers. Haven't heard from anybody. No investors. So I called my, one of my producers, which was Kyle, and I told him, listen, we talked about never doing this ever again. He said, and we did. We talked about it. I said, listen, I would never, ever do campaign ever again, because it was like it wasn't even a 9 to 5 job, man. It was 24/7. You know, you'd be like waking up 3 a.m. because you got somebody that says, "Hey, I want to give you $25, but I want to know if you're serious." And then you got to give them a 1 hour talk about, yes, this is exactly what we're going to do. And then $25 later, you know what I mean? So it's like, I said, I don't want to do it no more. I just don't want to do this anymore. It's really tough. But the pandemic happened. There's not as, you know, I do hear stories. The investors are out there. I don't know where, but you know, so I spoke to him. I said, look, guess what? We got to do it again. This is what we love. This is what we're going to do. And I said, I still have some gas in the tank. I thought I lost all the gas, but slowly but surely, I'm feeling it. I said, you know what? I got more gas in the tank. And yes, we're going to do it the same way. I definitely want to be able to raise all the monies first. That's not to say there might be a moment that say, hey, look, you know, let's just start it. You know, the person that I am, and I guess all of us have that ambitious drive that we have as artists. We feel like, oh, you know what, let's just do it. I can see that happening again. But yes, I would love to have it all set one, and then we shoot the project. And that's not to say that, again, going back to the beginning, there, you know, somebody may come and just pull the whole trigger and just fund the whole film. And, you know, I don't mind that happening. Just, it got to make sense.
We'll start selling those zombie with a shotgun T-shirts, man.
Oh my God. I tell you, that's another advice I tell everybody. Having T-shirts for merchandise for a campaign, it's tough. It's a pretty to find a right company to do it. That was a mission itself, to find a right company that will make a right T-shirt. It was just I was like, I'm never doing this again. And here I am. But yeah, seriously, the T-shirts got to come back.
You got some great artwork. The poster for the movie is great. The comics, you know, the artwork there.
Yeah, and that was very important. And that's a key thing. I made sure, like, you know, and again, you know, there was a lot of people that came to me, like Simone, who did the comic book. He did the comic books, the first one. It was his idea when he approached me. Hey, I think you should do a comic book. And I was like, oh shit, let's do it. You know, and he, you know, he's a big artist. He's done, you know, he's doing for Image Comics. He's worked for Tie-In. He's done 2 huge series. And it was just a blessing that he approached me and said, hey, I think what you have, you should do a comic. So I was like, all right. So, you know, learning that, and then, you know, a couple poster people said, look, I think I got a great poster idea for you. And I was like, let's do it. So, you know, having that, you know, the feedback, and I guess like what you said before, one of you guys said that the title has brought that attraction, I think. Let's make a poster with this title. And I think it's great. And it's funny, I just got approached from another artist that said that he had an idea for a poster if I'm willing to give him the shot. And if I like it, to tell him. I said, sure. And he's a pretty big artist. I was like, let's do it. Tell me, you know, and I think that was key. That was key also for the whole social media movement, is the excitement. And I tell that to a lot of like beginners that want to, you know, get into social media. And I've done this when I was talking to people who I discuss about growing your social media as eye candy, you know, having that eye candy images on your social media, repetitive, and having people look at it and say, wow, what is this? I want more, I want more, I want more. And that was also the main thing. When Simona came with the comic book, we had said every other day where he's going to do a sketch, I was going to blow up in social media every day, a new sketch, new panel, and him and I would promote each other that way. And that was a big key to the growth of the social media getting big. Because every other day people wanted more and more and more, and we were giving it to them.
How difficult was it to take the concept and start with the web series, then move it into the graphic novel, then move it into the feature film?
That's a damn good question. I think it was so damn difficult. And I think that was also the whole part I was telling you, as us being artists, we're very ambitious at doing stuff like that. I think I don't advise anybody to do that, but it was just so there at the moment, and I had to do it, and I had to take it because I would never get the opportunity for this big artist to come. So it was really hard because obviously the budget we had, we were, for the comic book, we were never able to do. So there's so many things in the comic book that is impossible to shoot, and then to skimming it down to the feature length film, and then having, of course, the web series being such a very minimal sort of budget, more atmospheric kind of thing. It was a huge challenge, and I think that was such a great learning experience for myself, and which made me so much better now. Even if would I do it again? I don't think I would, but if just to it just made me just much more aware of the comic book world versus feature film world, and of course the web series world. They're three different, and it was very difficult.
Do you find the social media aspect of promoting yourself more exhausting than the actual making of the movie, or is it go hand in hand?
Yes and no. Yeah, yeah, I would say so. I would say you're absolutely. I promoting it so much, and the hard part is trying to get new stuff to put up all the time, and it's very hard. You sound so. I sound so repetitive all the time, but at the same time, I'm hitting new followers that are seeing these new posts and stuff like that, and just trying to create a buzz. Yeah, it is. And figure out, what the hard part is, guys, is you don't want to lose the audience. You don't want to lose that sort of excitement. So if you I left social media, you got tired. You just I've been doing it for so many years. I was doing probably one post every 3 or 4 days, and I just started seeing the audience just people leaving. No one's really paying attention. And I'm like, oh man, this is a real job. I got to keep on. And it's and I get it. And that's just the way it is. You got to be present. You have to be able to cater to, the people that you want to know what's going on with. And the left, they will probably say, oh, Zombie's done. Zombie with a Shotgun is done. We're not, but it is challenging.
Do you have a title yet for the next one?
Yes. It's a working title. We've kind of heard it before. It's going to call Zombie with a Shotgun 2, The Vampire's Kiss. Vampire's Kiss is already a title, but it's a working title. But it was something to tell everybody, to introduce the audience that we are going to have an introduction of vampires.
Cool.
Nicola Kenny asked the question: are the zombies slow or fast in the movie?
It all depends on. Are you talking about
in the first one and in the second?
Okay, it all depends. So on the sequel, we're going to find out why some of them are fast and some of them are quicker than others. So that's something that we're going to explain in the second one. But overall, not to give too much up, the zombies are definitely have intelligence. Majority of them. So we'll figure that out. I mean, when the second one comes out, we're definitely we're gonna touch on that. Obviously, we found out that Braden at the very end was capable to do anything, anybody with the shotgun and everything. So yeah, we definitely want to touch on the zombie mythology. We want to, I know a lot of people are angry when we first did it. People say, "Oh, you can't do that. The mythology, you've broken the." So, but we definitely want to go into there, and we still want to break the rules.
I'm curious about the makeup. The zombie makeup. How many special effects people did you have working for you?
We had about 5. So the last person we did for the finale was the main special effects makeup artist to do that. Wow, I'm blanking out right now names. Who did and he was an amazing makeup artist. He was he's responsible to do a lot of the Gotham makeup, and he's huge. And I feel so bad that I forgot his name. I can't even get his name. So when we it is pretty interesting because he's a very big artist. I think that he's going to be up there, one of the big ones in the future. He's a young guy too, as well, so he definitely has time to climb. So when I was introduced by him by somebody, because I said, hey, you know this guy? Because you go to social media and you start to see who knows who. And I happened to find that one of my friends was following him. I was like, oh shit, this guy must knows him. So I called him up and said, hey, can you introduce me to this other artist? And calls me a week later after saying, hey man, the budget you have, there's just no way I can do it. And he just tells me, listen, I love your passion, man. And I started thinking about it. And he says, I actually went online. I started looking into stuff. I have to really appreciate what you're doing. And he goes, you know what? I'll do it. He said, you I'm going to give you all the material that you have to order, all the latex, all the makeup and everything. He says, order all the stuff and everything like that. I'll design it and everything. You give me all the concept ideas that you have. And my concept was, and this is true, I told him, he said, how do you want your zombie to look like? I said, I want him to look like Michael Jackson. Believe it or not, Thriller, Michael Jackson was actually the smart zombie. And branched off of that. After that, it was still slow zombies, dumb zombies. So I gave him the combination of making him look like Michael Jackson Thriller to another a piece that I found online, and he combined it, both of them. It's kick-ass. I'm actually going to see if I can find the two pictures that I gave him, because he definitely combined the two images to make that work. And yeah, it was awesome. I mean, he came to the set. He was a great guy. And I mean, and even if you look at his credits, he doesn't even do independent films. That was like one of the last ones. He did a lot of
He's
work.
Got quite the resume.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Like I said,
scored.
I think he's going.
His work
going
is
to be
beautiful.
Like the next. It is beautiful, and thank God, because we needed that. I mean, we had this indie film. We're trying to pull the punches to make it work, and we need this big finale. And this finale doesn't have this zombie makeup. We're dead. And it was so good, the makeup, that when we released the film, there's people that said it was a mask. It was fake. It was not real. Which movie? Yeah, he did such a kick-ass job on it. So that's another question to see if I have to see, if he, of course, the budget dictates everything, and see if he's available. I would love to bring him back. I mean, but like you said, his resume is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I think he was working the Conjuring, right? The last project, if I recall. I saw his resume not too long ago.
Yeah, he had Prodigal Son was one of his last ones too. So that series. So
yeah. Like I said,
but it's a beautiful, like Hadley said, it's a beautiful makeup, man.
Yeah, he lifted your film up past some of the bigger budget zombie films with that work that he did on the zombies. It was great.
Yeah, no, he did such a great job. He was so happy with the work he did, and he appreciated it a lot, because one thing that he did appreciate, Ben, was that a lot of times he would go to set, and he said he'll work on like 20 hours on one makeup job, and it's only like 5 seconds in the film. And so he was so happy that his makeup work had so much camera time and in the film, and it was awesome. I mean, he loved it. He said that happens quite often. Working 20 hours on a thing, or he's working on his big monster and everything, and then it's just like 5 seconds is just shown in the film.
So, question for you, Hilton.
Yes.
So the opening shot and then the end were shot at the same time?
Was the what scene shot at the same time?
The beginning with the zombie and the shotgun, and the end with the...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was shot at the same time.
Okay.
Yes.
So you had a remarkable success with this. Looking back, is there anything you would have done different?
No, because there was nothing that I could have done different, because it was out of my control.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't think there would have been anything different. Listen, we could all be on Monday morning quarterbacks that could have, should have, would have. But I look back at it and I said there was nothing. Everything was out of our hand. When there's scenes that we never even shot, and that happens to be because of we couldn't control situations that happen on set. But no, everything is we had the budget what we could possibly do, and I was blessed also to have actors that nobody did. There's not one person that had a really bad job, but everybody came, and it's 30 actors in the film, and that was probably another. Should have thought about that one. I could have thought about a little bit to not have too many actors in the film, but there was 30 people, and then they all came and did their thing.
So what about catering?
Say again?
What about catering?
Gatorade, that's what we needed, right?
Oh, catering. What about catering? Did you guys have a caterer on the set too?
Oh, no.
Or was it bring your own?
Cool.
Bring your own.
Yeah. That would be cool. Yeah. That's right. That is funny.
So could you tell us a little bit about some of your other work? Because I saw that you were getting a lot of praise for 666 and your recent film.
Okay. So I give you another cool little story about 666 that not a lot of people know. So when we did Zombie with a Shotgun, we did the first episode. Again, go back to that. It went viral. And then we did a couple of them, 2 and 3. We didn't do all of them in the same time. It actually, believe it or not, I think we did it in 2 years' time. And that happens to be another key thing is the actor actually got signed to a management just on the first episode of Zombie with a Shotgun. Okay? And that was pretty damn amazing. Yeah. And he got signed and he left and went to California and left me like, oh man, where's my lead guy for my web series? Yeah. But he made a commitment. I get it. That's what you want. That's what this is all about. And he's like, I'm gonna come back to New York and back and forth. We'll shoot the episodes. And we also shot 666, which he is also in. So my whole thing with 666 was to have each story different with different actors, but about the same, evil entity. About this evil person, the devil himself born on this date of 666. It was sort of like a homage to like back in the days in the 80s or 70s films they used to have, like The Omen and all that stuff. It was like a homage, but it was like a cool thing I wanted to do again to play with the whole web series thing. And I thought it was excellent. It was sort of like these exercises that you do to build your craft. So we did the first one. The first one was dynamite, to me in my book. I loved the first episode. And again, Zombie with a Shotgun shadowed it. So not a lot of people knew about it. So then I did part 2. I did the second episode of 666. And guess what? I get an email from Eli Roth's company. And one of his guys that's in charge of his company says, hey, we saw your film online. We think is amazing. We would love to bring this to at that time, it was Crip Horror, Crip TV, right? It was Crip Horror / Crip TV. So he started Crip Horror as a new sort of like a way to showcase filmmakers' talent and horror and stuff like that. And they love 666 that they wanted me to do original content. So there I am shooting this next 666 for original content for Eli Roth's Crip Horror. So I shot it, and believe it or not, I was actually the first person to open up Eli Roth's Crip Horror / Crip TV.
Very cool.
And that's not a lot of people even know that. So the Crip Horror got so big and / Crip TV, they decided to put everything under Crip TV umbrella, and Crip Horror dissolved. So there's no more Crip Horror. It's just Crip TV now. And all the filmmakers that were there and Crip Horror and everything who came in there, they had their, whatever their, there was hundreds and hundreds of filmmakers came right after I came, and they smart. They were able to get a huge monies for to create their own production company, make their own original content, and of course that makes sense. They could build their original content and make money off of it. So that was where 666 got popular. People like, oh wow, we did the third one, Then I did a fourth one, and the fourth one never went nowhere because the Crypt Horror dissolved. So I had this episode for a while. I'm like, dude, you know. And we were also shooting for a fifth one. We had some couple of scenes we did. And as time went by, Crypt, 666 was just, people would ask for it or not, So there I got basically about 5 episodes. What do I do with it? A lot of people liked it. A lot of people love it. They love the whole concept, So I decided, you know what? I'm going to release all of them, but I'm going to make 3 more short stories and put them all in an anthology. My own, 8 episodic horror anthology about 666, and each story is different. Some of them do combine, and that's where that whole 666 thing came from. And we actually finished the film. The film is completely all the episodes is completely done. The only thing that we're working on right now is music and sound mix. Once that's done, we're figuring out when we're going to release it.
Do you have a hand in the music? Do you pick the the soundtrack? Anything that wants to go in there? You want to go in there?
Yeah, I definitely give like some sort of like a couple of times. Like I work with Dave Bateman. It's amazing. Me and Dave have been working years ago. Now he's he's doing so much Netflix films and everything. But he's amazing because him and I have such a good relationship, going back the days. And, he's able to send me like a library of stuff. And I will listen to them. And I said, I love that sound. I would love to see if you can put this into this project and see everything. So that's how we work. A lot of times also, I do trust a lot of his stuff. And I say, okay, look, I'm going to give you, I'm going to give you, free range, do whatever you want to do. And I always tell him, but how I am. I tell him I want something that's out of the box, something that's different or whatever. So we got such a good relationship like that. And a lot of times, we nail it with the music. So, that's a good thing to have a guy on your side that's able to do music, and understands that your taste and, whatever you like, the sound, in the projects. So yeah, I have like, there's other projects, it's, like I said, I've done documentaries, I've done, a lot of narratives, and all that stuff. And I do have, another project that I was working on, and I do these, I would say serious documentaries, and everybody says, hey man, wait a minute, you're a zombie guy and you did this. I go, yep, I'm the guy. I did the zombie and I did that project too. And there's a documentary I did 10 years ago, and it was it's not horror or anything, but I'll just say it really quick. It was a documentary about this boy, 15 years old, that grew up in the South Bronx, and he made national headlines when he wrote a book. Both parents had HIV. His mom dies of HIV. His sister dies of HIV. And he makes headlines that he's all over the news. 2020 with Diane Sawyer. He's on every single Life magazine, Time magazine. He's become this big sensation because back in 1995, 96, it was sort of a taboo to talk about parents having HIV. And here he is, this kid who's basically putting his story out there in public, and he was huge, and he disappeared. So I had these producers that wanted me to go out. They had interest, this humanitarian story about this guy, to go find him and tell the story of what happened. And basically that's what the documentary is. I do find him. I find him in the South Bronx, and we tell the story of 1996, of what happened then to now. And that's another one that we are going to release hopefully this year.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Do you like producing or directing better, or does it matter? Or
no, it doesn't matter. But I think that being an indie filmmaker, there's that control kind of thing, and being like producing on a project. Like I've gotten into projects that I produce, and sometimes that's sort of like that control freak about me. Like, oh man, I wish I was able to do that because that's what I would have done. So I think they have to be together with more like what I'm doing. The directing and producing has to be sort of side to side for me to do it. But I think I do enjoy directing more. And I give the whole analogy of like there's nothing like you have a dollhouse, right? And the cool thing of having a dollhouse, that the dollhouse is empty. And as a director, you're the only one that could build that dollhouse. You're able to put the dolls in what room, what picture frames, what room, what kitchen table. And I think that's just the beauty about being a director, filmmaker, is that you're able to create your own dollhouse. And that's what I love about it.
Yeah, that's what we do all the time. Only we don't put it on film.
Yeah.
And we have a big budget. Unlimited, the biggest one in the world.
Screw the budget.
Yeah, we were talking to Glenn Miller, who does a lot of movies for the Asylum and stuff. And he's saying you start with your budget and what you want to do, and then it goes.
That is funny. Steven Spielberg, of course, he has the mega bucks to make any budget, but he had said something that was pretty interesting. He says that every film is abandoned because you have to just let it go, and there's no more money for it and everything. It's just every single film project that is abandoned, and I thought that was pretty interesting. I was like, that is pretty true.
Yep, they keep right on editing to the last possible moment. In fact, I think Peter Jackson. Actually, after he won the Oscar, he was still doing edits to Return of the King. And he'd already won the Oscar for it.
You gotta love that one. I could see me doing that same thing. I could see myself doing the same thing. Absolutely, yeah. Oh man, you gotta love that one.
Well, Hilton, we really appreciate you coming. That's gonna be an hour, and I don't want to take up any more of your time. But where can we find you online? I know I found you on Twitter, but where else are you?
I'm in all the social media platforms. My main one definitely is Twitter. That's the spot that, like, if anybody wants to ask me a question, you can ask me there. Anybody wants to follow me, I follow them back. And I'm there on a daily basis promoting Zombie with a Shotgun and all of my other material that I have going on. But you can find me on Instagram /Zombie with a Shotgun, YouTube /Zombie with a Shotgun, Facebook, same thing. And all the social media, popular social medias, you can find me. But Twitter is the one that you will find me there on a daily basis. And if, I tell people, a lot of people don't know about Zombie with a Shotgun, but if they just Google it and put Zombie with a Shotgun first episode, they can watch that very first episode. And if they like it, that's what you're going to get for the feature. Again, the feature's available on Amazon, YouTube, Google Play, and Tubi. But I tell everybody go watch it in Tubi because not everybody has a subscription. Not everyone, and you can watch it for free. But yes, the filmmaker does get paid. We're not getting paid millions of dollars, but we still get some sort of money out of people watching it. Of course, commercials run through the project, but that's okay. And that's a lot of streaming services. Even Hulu has that. And that's what I say. Go to Tubi. Watch Zombie with a Shotgun for free, and that's it. And just stay tuned. We started a Patreon page if everybody wants to help and donate. We're starting at $3 and help to create the sequel for Zombie with a Shotgun.
That's great. And what other projects do you have coming down besides the Zombie with a Shotgun too?
I'm actually working on another. I'm developing another project. What has to do with it is a sort of thriller / it has horror elements. How can I say it without like giving too much of it?
We won't tell anybody.
It has to do with oh man, I don't know how.
It's safe with us, man.
It's safe with you, yeah. Yeah, so I'm actually finishing up I'm on my 6th draft right now. And we're looking to do a table reading in 2 weeks. Yeah, it's a new one. It's a feature. Yeah, I don't know how to give it to say without giving up, but
can you give us the title, or no? Is that a?
Yes, it's called I Will.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
very cool. Thanks for coming on tonight, Hilton.
Thanks
it's been great,
Pleasure
man.
meeting you.
You're very entertaining, and it's great and informative.
And I'm gonna put all the links in the description below, and along with your Patreon page.
That would be awesome, and I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. I'm glad that I was able to come on and express my projects and give anybody any sort of like inspiration to people who are listening.
Hey, you get farther into this, come back on, man. We love to have you back on.
And listen, anytime, you guys. I definitely when we are getting to production, I definitely love to come on. You need somebody to come on, let me know. I'm here.
Indie people have to stick together, man.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's again, like the first thing I've said before. I feel like the system that we've been so stuck in the past year and a half, whatever you want to call it. And the only thing that we had, yes, we had alone time, we had sadness, people passing away. But when we were entertained by the system. And the system was the one that was telling us and showing us these stories that there was only made by the system. And that system also made us a mind control police. It showed us and not knocking the streaming services, but it sort of is, it was sort of the same stuff that we're watching. And a lot of the stuff was unrealistic. And everything was sort of like, wait a minute, why is everything sort of looking formula? Everything's looking the same. And I think now is the time that we don't want that system anymore. We don't want to see those things. And we want to see new things and different things. And thank God that we're at the tail end of this pandemic where, artists are now able to come out and be able to do their work again. And people out there that support them. And again, I truly believe that Zombie with a Shotgun is that, indie project that it is definitely out of the system and is not made by where, we've telling us this is what you have to watch and this is how it is. And, that's, to me, that's all BS, that's not art, but that's, I'm ranting again, I think I have to stop. I have to stop the rant.
You're in good company, man.
Yeah, the rant. There we go. The only thing I was needing is some music in the background, and I was like, that didn't come in. Maybe next time you have that for me when I come in. Put the music in the background.
It'll be 80s. It'll be 80s hair band music, man.
White Snake.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Talk about Zombie. Talk about other projects. I do have something very, 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 very interesting coming up, and I can't say it. So because I'm not allowed to say it, but it looks like it's going to happen. And we're looking about maybe in 2 weeks, I will be announcing it on my social media. And that would be awesome to come back and talk about.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah. Or you could tell us now, and we won't tell anybody.
I think keep the secret.
I think a lot of
It's a cone of silence in here, man.
Yeah. It's a pretty big thing. I think you guys would appreciate more than a lot of people because it has to do with literature. So yes.
I need to learn how to read.
That makes two of us.
So my favorite phrase is I still haven't learned my lowercase numbers. So
that is funny. I know you guys we got to leave soon, but there was an author that I read on internet. He's like, I wrote more books than I ever read in my life. I'm like, what? And it was like 3 books.
That's horrible. Wow.
Yep.
But perfectly believable.
Yep. Yeah, it is. And I forget his name. He's like this big time help he inspires people to do things and what do they call them? Help books, whatever they're called.
Yeah, self-help or something.
Self-help books. Yeah, he's so huge. I'm so bad with names, and he's huge, and he's written these 3 books, and I'm pretty sure he's become a millionaire off of these books. And his thing is to tell people hey, dude, don't stress yourself. I wrote more books than I ever read. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink that I got to do this and this. And so look at me, I just did it, and it was pretty cool. This is a pretty cool saying he said so. But
Alrighty then.
Yes. Yeah, guys, man, thank you so much.
Hey, thank you, man.
Our pleasure.
We wish you the best, man. It's awesome. You're living the dream. There you go. You're living the dream.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.
It's great to see an indie become so successful. So
I appreciate that.
I don't think we even really got to talk about half the stuff we wanted to talk with you, but we'll catch you next time. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of other things to talk about. Yeah, definitely would be awesome. And I'm always all about, obviously you can see I'm like a chatterbox. So you got definitely see, I'm always cool talking.
Well, thanks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, next time we're doing this topless. So
yes,
you read my mind. You read my mind.
I've already got no pants on. So.
Let's not go there, shall we?
Definitely.
Thanks a lot, Hilton.
No problem, guys. Thank you so much, and I guess we'll talk soon.
All right.
We'll
Thanks,
talk
brother.
to you later.
Take care.
Thanks.
This is going to do it, guys. I hope you enjoyed our conversation with Hilton Ariel Ruiz and that you will support his endeavors making Zombie with a Shotgun too. Until next time, I know that the team here at Wyrd Realities really appreciate your support. Until next time, stay weird.
Wyrd Realities podcast is made possible by Lauren Smith, producer, with Night Callers Production, and Logan Kraft with Beaver Hook Productions.